It's the second half now, and it's an example of a diagonal ball that we're attempting. And I just want to highlight the space that we're trying to hit it to. Oftentimes, our service is to where the player is currently and not where they're running to or where the space is available. And we need to do a better job of hitting the ball to the spaces, not necessarily directly to where you initially see the player. So just want to run through it. Good interplay here. Attempted here to play the ball over top, but they're retreating and able to win the ball. They did a good job of really covering spaces. Now Dana picks up the pieces, which in this video you don't necessarily see the effort here to do that. This is the Montco's version of the film, but I wanted to use it because the trees are in the way. But you can see Dano's deep, but the ball plays in here, and he's the first person on the ball. That's what we want. If we're going to play direct, we got to pick up the pieces. And we do a good job here of getting the ball. It's not on for us to go forward. Let's cut the ball back. And now at this moment, again, this is the trigger for a lot of our diagonal balls. A player either cutting back or running across the grain of the field. So across the field, and we have a counter run opportunity. I think this is Eric to run in behind. Now the defender actually is in a good spot, and you can, as you watch the play, he's looking. He sees it coming, but the ball it starts way too shallow. It's not into space. There is plenty of space to hit this ball. And we underhit it almost every single time when we try to hit these balls. We hit it right to where Eric has to come back basically to get the ball, even though he's running into space. Okay, and I think this is an opportunity, again, the quality has to improve. The ideas are good, but the quality has to improve. We have to know what we're trying to do with the ball. We're trying to hit the ball into space, into this space. Okay, make the defender have to retreat. Mike can turn out and win if the defender does win the ball, Mike can turn out and win the ball. But the ball's short, they basically just stand there and clear it, and that's where we get caught going the other direction. So just let it play out. That's not good enough there. Get a shot off, but nothing really comes of it, even though we had good space to play. So just wanted to highlight really that the ideas are good, right? First long ball into space, we pick up the pieces. It's not on for us. We cut the ball back. We play backwards, so it's using our negative space. And then as we go across the field, right, we get that initial run. This time the secondary space is in there because there's no runners, but the first run is on for us to play because the defenders are flat-footed. They're not retreating. We just need to hit the ball into space. Our player's running onto it, and if that ball was into space, I think we would have had a goal. In this clip, I just wanted to highlight the pattern that when the ball goes wide, what we should be looking to do in terms of our play, and really the mistake we often make when the ball goes into the wide areas around the box or around the corner flag. And then just also highlight just the general lack of patience that we had at times here in the second half. So just let it play. Decent first time ball. Again, we're playing the ball into space. We don't necessarily win the first one, but we're winning that second ball, which is good. Now, Daniel, this is one of my huge pet peeves. We're in a space here where we can't do much, all right? An attempt here to dribble, and a lot of players do this, is not necessarily the best option for me. I think we definitely could work the ball around or work the ball back and look to cross. And as you work this ball, as this play keeps going, it's hard to see through the branch, but this is Brendan, I think, working in the near space. All Daniel needs to do here is lay a ball off just where the referee is, just on the outside, for Brendan to run on and hit first time ball. And as you can see, this is Garrett, one of our best headers on our team. A ball into this space would be very dangerous. Dean can attack it. Garrett can attack it. And all we need to do is play a ball back into this space. Play negative, not try to force the ball into them. They're set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players. And the attempt to beat a player is high risk or high reward, but low percentage. So to me, I want to play the high percentages. I want the ball I want to play the way I'm facing, because that's usually what the best play is. I want to find somebody who can see the field better than me. This player, Brendan in this case, can see the field better than me. If he can't serve it, we just recycle it and work the ball around in what we consider an umbrella. We work the ball around them to the other side of the field, and as we're doing that, we're looking to penetrate. But to me, trying to go for a meg here, look, if you gotten through, great, right? I wouldn't have probably picked this clip to say, don't work the ball around from a wide spot, but you don't, because that's low. It's low percentage. Like the fact that the defenders are good at the highest levels, to beat him in this case is difficult. He has a line as an advantage. You're facing away from goal. He can be patient. He doesn't have to try to win the ball. Right? All of those factors, when you're playing against a good good player, factor into what you should be doing next. And in this case, we lose the ball because we're trying to dribble, and I think we could work the ball around there in a much better position. Now, this is just to highlight just our general play. When we win the ball, we got to keep a little bit better possession. We're looking to attack right away the same side we just won it one time. Now, we just won the ball again. We try to, again, attack in the same exact space. Instead of looking the ball wide or switching point of attack, we attack that same zone. Now we win the ball again. We're still trying to attack that same side. We're winning the ball again. I know it's hard to see, but it's just frantic. It isn't clean. Even here, Garrett wins the ball, going straight forward right at them. They win the ball. They kick it right back to us. Somebody needs to set the ball down. Dean has a chance to, and decides, again, instead of just playing simple and keeping the ball, we've had 3 or 4 different attempts at trying to go forward. Let's use the space. Let's get ourselves into a good rhythm. And I think that's what I want to highlight here is that we get ourselves, sometimes we get frantic, or at least no one is able to pause or at least slow the game down and get us into a rhythm. And when we win the ball, we have to think, we have to keep it for at least a pass or two. We have to keep it for a few passes. Let us get open. Right, we're defensively, and especially get the ball away from the area we just won it. And as you can tell, we were attacking the right side. We just worked the ball with Daniel there. He tried to dribble. They win the ball. They kick it to us. We try to attack the same exact area where all their players are. And then this third pass, you can see it again as it continues playing. Jake does the same exact thing, just tries to put it right back into pressure, which is where they are. Okay, and I think we can do a better job of just being patient. When we win the ball, I don't necessarily have to kick it right back into the area we just won it. We want to work the ball to the other side of the field. Unless something's obviously on for us, I think it's better for us to work the ball backwards and sideways than it is to try to force a pass through them. Especially if we just won the ball in that area. Your objective here when you do that typically is to find an outlet. Get away from the guys that are near there because that's where they have their numbers, where they're attacking. Get the ball to the weak side and let us build from there. So I just wanted to highlight 2 different things. When the ball goes wide, especially in the corner flag area, we have a throw-in over there, we have a free kick over there, whatever the situation is, the ball is in that area. Typically speaking, we want to work the ball around. Right? Find somebody behind you that can serve a ball in the box, and if they can't serve it, they now cycle the ball to the other side of the field. And as the ball moves from segment to segment or from player to player, those guys can then have a better chance, because they see the field better, of seeing if they can penetrate. And if they can, then they do. If not, we keep cycling the ball around. If it's not on for us to even cycle, we go all the way back and reset. And I think we can do a better job when we work the ball in the wide spots to get something out of it, as either get a corner out of it, right, kick it off and get a corner, or try to work the ball around. Losing the ball there is to me is the worst option. Trying to dribble at least, and losing the ball is the worst option for us. It sometimes works, but it's low percentage. It's high reward. If you do beat them, yes, we get in and we can probably get an easy cross or a goal. But to me, the high percentage play, which is what we want to play, is to work the ball back and around, because you can't score from the corner flag. It's really difficult to get any good play from there, especially when you're facing away from goal. And then the second part that I wanted to highlight, I guess, in this video is just how frantic, or at least how not under control we were at times. And just highlight, what can we do better in these situations not to lose the ball so easily? Because against good teams, they kept on giving it back to us. But if we keep giving the ball away like they were doing to us, a team will take advantage of that and work the ball. Right? There are teams that play like this that can take advantage of sloppy, unintelligent play. And I think you saw a lot of that there. Even some from our players, we see players rushing their decisions when we have plenty of time. In this clip, I'm just highlighting our play out of the back and just kind of how sloppy it can be at times. And really, the second thing is to highlight the rule of playing the way you face also applies to our defenders. And just recognizing that you don't need to panic when you're under pressure. You have players to play to usually. As long as we communicate and see those options, we can usually get out. And what you'll see here is that they get a chance on goal because we're just not that clean out of the back. We're hurrying our decisions, and we could play better here. So it's a long ball into space. Again, not necessarily the best ball for me. Jet's running, I guess, to the side. It's not an accurate ball. And I think we're looking to play his feet there, but we end up not getting in. And really, this is the worry that I have when we start playing long ball, is that if it isn't, it's 50-50, right? So if we're not winning that first ball, we're not winning that second ball, we're giving up our chances to attack, and that allows them to get some rhythm. So in this case, Abel does a good job here of reading that pass and trying to get onto it, but it's not necessarily cleaned up completely. Now they just launched the ball forward. Now we have plenty of time here. plenty of time. There's not really any pressure here on Jake, and I think Rafael needs to do a better job of talking, Tony as well, just to make sure that we make the right decision. Everyone here can help out the ball carrier, and I think he's trying to save it from going out of bounds potentially. But there's so many we could just easily play out, and this is what's dangerous, right? We're set up really. I don't think no one's expecting this to happen. I think we're expecting this to be able to play out because there's really no pressure. And we kick the ball into a space where they're able to pick the ball up, and this is dangerous. Basically, in a 1v1 situation, Rafael does a decent enough job. Garrett recovers him behind, and they don't get a shot off. But I think it just highlights, and I've mentioned this. You'll see in other films that when we're playing one direction or a certain way, play the way you're facing. It's a general principle of play, right? If you haven't looked before the ball has come to you and you don't see your options, right, that your time to look for options isn't when you have the ball, especially when you're under pressure, right? Typically speaking, if you're under pressure, that's not the time to try to look for play. And we're in our defensive part of the field. We need to know our options early, communicate them. Players off the ball need to help. And I've been a big believer in our communication improving the players on the ball, right? We can do a much better job of dictating play with your communication and your movement off the ball. So in this case, you can see Jake puts himself under pressure because I think, not hearing the play, but you just don't see the other players directing him. You don't see other players helping him, and he can obviously do a better job in that situation, but also other players can help him do a better job, and that's where I think we need to improve. So playing the way you face, a general principle, I think applies here to defenders as well. In this video, we're just going to see just the decision making by certain players on the field, and I think we can improve upon it. Again, so Rafael has time here and space to play, and I'm not exactly sure what he sees here, but Jake and Tony are wide open. I mean, as we rewind this, I'm not exactly sure what his thought process is in terms of coming back this direction, because there really isn't anything over here for him to play. The space where they're pressing, if they're allowing us to go the other side of the field, and just do it. And then we go to that side of the field and let us attack from that side. And so, we risk really playing into a 3v3 is what you've decided, and it's not on for us to really. Everyone's pointing. Garrett's pointing, Dean's pointing, everyone's pointing. Get the ball out of this area because they're pressing. So for me, switch your point of attack, get us out the other side of the field. Now Dean's not expecting this pass. You pass it to him, but he's not expecting to get it, and so they're able to win it. Luckily for them, lucky for us, they kick it out of bounds. If this guy picks up the ball cleanly, he's going at us, and it's a 3v3. Okay, with Jake recovering in behind. So I think we can do a better job of just making a better decision there and just finding the open player and just going with it, not having to look that player off and go somewhere else. Now, here another example of just a poor decision making here based on the pressure. Okay, Daniel wins the ball, and there is no reason. You're facing this direction. We can switch the point of attack. There is zero reason to turn back this direction. There are 3 players on you, and again, this is poor decision making based on the pressure. As you can see here, there's no reason to come back, right? We get lucky. The ball should be going in the direction that this ended up going. It should be going to Abel. We should just get out. We do a good job of winning the ball, right? It's not the greatest play for us. You're under pressure by 2 players. You do a great job of winning the ball. Now just give it to Abel, and Abel can get us out there. All 3 of their players, plus their forwards, are on this half of the field. All we need to do is go out the other side when we'd be attacking. We would attack the other side. But you decide to turn back into pressure. They end up clearing the ball into space, and Abel does end up in the ball. I think this is where we just need a little bit more composure. I mean, again, we get the ball here, and it seems to be we just seem to just hit it forward blindly and trying to get the ball forward again on a flick, just trying to get it forward again, just kicking the ball. I think we could do a better job of just settling down. Once we've broken their pressure, it isn't necessarily on for us. I don't know what we see from a ball like this, right? I think maybe we're trying to play jet into space. Possibly. Yeah, maybe that's, there is some space here when Abel picks up this ball that, they're a flat back line. There probably is space in behind for Jet, but it's under hit. For me, the play is wide. Get the ball. We've worked the ball from left, and let's go to the right. Make them shift to the other side, and as we do that, we work the ball again across the field. I think that's a general pattern for us that we can look to do. But overall, I think it's just the decision-making on the ball based on the pressure. If the pressure is there, play away from it. Don't dribble into it. Don't pass into it. Especially in our half of the field, right? When you have to take chances and when you have to take risks is in the attacking part of the field, right? We don't want to give the ball up easily in our end, but because we have to obviously make an attack right away. So in this situation, in both situations, let's play the easiest pass first. If it has to go back to Tony because maybe they're pressing up higher, then go back to Tony and we work the ball around. If it has to go into Garrett and he can bounce it out to the other side of the field, that's fine by me too. But playing a ball into basically coverage on the wide spot is a dangerous pass. All he can do, the best he can do is bounce it back to you, and you can work the ball around. But again, it's played to his front foot, not his back foot. He's not ready for it. He's not really expecting it, and the defender is able to read it. Same thing with Daniel in the next play, right? He has an opportunity to get us out. He's facing that way. Again, play the way you're facing, what you see. Don't turn it. And then we're in our half of the field. His positioning right now is a midfield. He should be working the ball across the field. Your job is to switch the point of attack anyways, right? Why come back? There's nothing to be gained here by coming back here. And then just once we do get the ball, we got lucky. Once we do get here, let's just have a little bit more composure, right? It is somewhat on. I would give you that. It is somewhat on to play this ball into space, but it doesn't get there because we underhit it. But let's work the ball across the field to the players who are most open. Based on this pressure, this player on the wide side of the field is the most open person. You can still play this ball into space once it gets here. Okay, so that's basically. I just wanted to highlight those few things. In this film, we're just looking at, again, a tendency from our forwards just to run all of our forwards to run away when we need somebody to come into space and drop in and provide support. We break pressure here pretty well with our passing. Okay, get a little combination, get a little lucky there getting out of pressure. I probably would have rather passed out of there, but we end up getting the ball to Garrett. And in this moment right here, you don't see a player. One of our forwards has to come in here and get the ball, right? Our three midfielders, typically I want my attacking midfielder to be in here. But right now, Garrett has the ball and he's looking, and there's so much space for us to play that and they're retreating anyways, right? You guys are all running and they're just retreating. They read it. They're not dumb defenders. They're not going to just stand there and let you run in behind. And all three guys are running in behind. Garrett has time on the ball. We need one of you at least to just drop into this space right here and receive the ball, and then we can play through Abel and get out. But in this case, we all drop back. They're able to read it and win the ball. And right, and that really to me just highlights what we can do differently with our attack. Every single one of us is trying to get in behind, and not one person is thinking, I can get the ball to my feet. There's so much space. Read the space based on the pressure. The pass should be based on what the defenders are doing. If the defenders are just dropping based on your run and then come back. This is where we need a double move, right? You're running, you realize the guy's going and is in front of you. Even here, the defenders drop deep. And Mike's not in picture here, but again, the defenders are reading it, okay? Let's just drop here and get the ball to feet and play. But I think we need to do a better job. Than the first half, you saw an example where the midfield does get the ball and is breaking and everyone continues to run through. In this case, again, we need somebody to be the short option for us. All three of you guys are running basically to the same spot. Okay, the ball played in here is basically to all three of you, and not one of you is looking to get the ball to feet. In this clip, I just wanted to highlight what is probably their best chance of the game. And what I would say the root cause of that, what led to that at least. And so I'll let it play. As you see, they're playing long on a free kick. Could Rafael do a better job of controlling that ball? Yes, but he has Daniel here available to him, and it's this play right here that it really is what causes, or at least leads to their start of their attack. And so I just wanted to highlight really the poor decision to try to beat a player at midfield 1v1 when you have players. You can play Rafael, you can play Garrett. We have players available. Play the way you're facing. If you're a midfielder, you're a defender, that's typically what those rules generally apply. Even at the forward level, unless you can attack, but you can take more chances when you're a forward, right? The risk of losing the ball high up the field isn't as great because they have to go 60, 70 yards to score a goal. You lose the ball here when we're set up to attack, they have space to play. We have guys out of position, basically, and we have to recognize the danger of losing the ball in this situation. You have able to play here, actually, as well, right? There's a perfect triangle here to get the ball out, and instead of trying to dribble, we should pass. But we decide to dribble, and they don't lose the ball, basically, until they get a shot on net, which needs to be cleared off the line by Dean. Now, it takes them a while to get there. Could we do a better job in pressing that and not necessarily get played around? Yeah, you know, we probably could, but they're playing well, and this happens, right? They're moving the ball. We're not necessarily able to win the ball right away. We have to defend in numbers. Tackling there could be better. They get through. We could clear the ball a little better there in terms of our clearing our lines, but they win the ball and they're able to continue to attack. And here, the forward gets a quick turn and a shot, and luckily for us, and we're in good positioning by Dean, he's there to clear the ball. But I go back to what led up to that. Did that need to happen? And to me, no. They didn't do anything special to win this ball. We gave it to them. Okay, we made a bad decision. It's not like the defender made a good play and won that second ball. We're basically giving them the ball with this type of play. And the reward for trying to beat this player 1v1 isn't even that great. You would still have to go, again, entire half of the field to try to score a goal. Trying to beat a player here 1v1 when we can just pass out, right, through Abel out to the other side of the field was an option, right, as this ball comes to you. You can just knock the ball in, he can turn, play out. You could play Garrett. Garrett can turn out. Or you can play Rafael. He's still available to you. I would say, putting a little bit of onus on these guys, yeah. Dictating play, right, by your movement and your talking. I do think, none of the players really moved as this ball is coming into Daniel, right? Garrett could probably talk more. Abel's definitely, since he's not necessarily in view, you got to say something. Okay, you got to say, I'm open, or, passing the ball. He might look up. Can we do a better job of dictating play here? Because the tendency for certain players to dribble is increased when we don't tell them what to do, right? And so, to me, yes, he makes a bad decision, but can we make him make a better decision? Can we help him make a better decision by our movement and our talking? And I think in this case, had this worked out for you, or for Daniel, in turning, we might not have said anything. And had they not had an attack here, right, maybe we stopped the play there and it was over, I might not have highlighted this, but in this case, it turned from us having a clean possession and clear possession to us having to chase and harass and have to work hard and defend. That's what wastes energy, right? Against a good team like a San Jose or San Diego or even the Missouri teams that we're going to be playing, or any of the national team guys, the teams that we've played before. These are quality possessions for them, and they'll capitalize on them. So we need to make sure not to give the ball away cheaply. And I just wanted to make sure you see it again, that this is what happened from that single play, is that they nearly score. All right, in this video, just see overall good play by us that leads to 2 corners, building out of the back, and I'll just let it run. We win the ball here, good defending. We don't force it anywhere. We look to play simple, get the first few passes and get a rhythm. It's not on for us. We look to switch. All right, go backwards, go sideways. Just be patient with our possession because they're shifting and covering and doing a good job. You can see Garrett's talking and telling players what to do, right? He's telling, right? We need to work. He's looking to see what the next pass is going to be, possibly. He's telling players, as you'll see it work through here. He's telling Jake who to pass to. He's telling a player to come in, right, with his hand movements, and he gets himself into Cam's position, actually, right? And on the left back, you don't normally see a number 6 drop out like this. Early in the first half, he dropped in between the center backs. Now he's pulling out to the left side, which I like, because he can get the ball in these areas, and he's one of our better servers of the ball, so might as well get him on it, right? This confuses the midfield often because, right, now they don't know who to mark. Usually they're supposed to mark the players in their zone. They're not supposed to track individual players and just run with them. By pulling out here into this space, it makes it difficult for them to track our number 6, in this case Garrett. So by doing this, he opens up. Now, as you see this play happening, now the forward has to decide between 2 players. We're basically creating an overload here between Cam and Garrett. And Garrett does a great job here of playing 1 touch because the pressure's coming. He plays 2 touch there. Excuse me. He gets tackled probably, or he has to play backwards. But 1 touch is what gets us out, and I think that's what we need from a lot of our players, using less touches. He's seen in a good position here, but he's not in a scoring position, so I think it's a good thing that he turned backwards. All right, a lot of times we'll try to force the ball down line and try to dribble ourselves. When you're in the wide spot, usually you want to play around, right? Come back and go around, especially if you're running away from the goal, away from the field. Good 1-2 combination here, and really they recover well. I'm going to give them credit. They do a very good job in a lot of situations where we beat them, and they recover well and are able to make the tackle. And I think had this cross come in, I think we had good near post run from Billy. We had a guy on the spot in Ethan, and we had a guy working towards the back post in Jack. And I think even Tyler was running on the outside as well. So we have good numbers, good 1-2 here. Cam's in support of it. We have 3 players around it, players behind it if we needed to go reset, and good near post, far post spot runs. They obviously do a good job of blocking it. Just jumping ahead to the corner. All right. So as you see the balls coming in, a lot of numbers in there. They win the first ball, but we nearly win that second ball and able to put it in. They're scrappy. They're blocking. They're throwing bodies at the ball, which is good. The ball comes out to us, to Cam, and he doesn't panic by throwing the ball just back in or just kicking the ball out. He's keeping composed. He tries to get the ball wide. And smart by Rafael here. He knows he's offsides. He leaves it. Right? He knows he's not going to play it. He just leaves it. And Billy's able to get on this nearly. And now Daniel has it. Right? And instead of trying to force the ball into this space, because Billy's probably offsides, right? He's not going to take 2 players on. We want to work the ball. The play is behind us. And we do a good job of finding the extra person here and to find the open person to get another cross, which is what we were looking for. Garrett gets up, and it ends up being another corner for us. And if we jump ahead, I like having 2 players out here. I think it's good positioning. We have a player out here. They don't necessarily put 2. We probably could have played a little short corner, but we decided to put it in the box, which is fine by me. A little bit more lofted, but at least it's over that first guy. We get a head on it, and then nearly get a shot on goal, which is a good effort. So overall, as you can see, that just the building out of the back is good. We're patient. We're moving the ball quickly. You know, Garrett's decision to play one touch often helps us get out of pressure quickly, and I think the other players need to do the same. Right? Think in that one touch. You know, if you need to take 2, if it's a bad pass, or, you know, if you have time, then yeah, take 2. But try to play in that quicker play. Take less touches and play quicker. Gets us out, right? Causes confusion by dropping by positioning. He knows his next pass because he's looking, and we're able to get out. And then good combination play down the wings, which is what we're looking for. Attacking with our outside backs. Forwards are combining with the midfielders. We're able to get good crosses off, 2-3 good crosses. A couple different crosses, and leads to a couple different corners. So just overall good offensive play by us. All right, this video highlights one of their better chances as well, and it just goes to just want to discuss the defensive responsibilities or the positioning that can improve, as well as our just overall team shape. So as this play is going, you know, we do a decent job of winning these balls and then keeping possession, as you'll see. Again, we're patient. We seem to be hitting less long balls at this point in time, so we're just looking to play short. Work the ball from side to side. Billy does a good job of cutting in. And I think right here is where we're a little bit out of shape. Probably a bit aggressive for my liking. This is Tyler on the far side of the field, and this is Billy. You know, typically, because Billy had cut in, and Tyler had overlapped, he continued his run. And I think once we work the ball the other side of the field and Cam starts to go, I think we need to recognize that maybe this is a place that I need to drop back a little bit and make sure that I'm providing a little bit more cover. And as you see this play developing, this miscommunication really, I think, what's happening here is Garrett's looking to play short, and I think it's either Yassine or Daniel is looking to play long or looking the ball into space, and so it gets cut out easily. They do a good job, so we lose the ball, and they do a good job of a first time. You can barely see it through the trees. Ball comes in, the guy hits it first time to the outlet, which is where normally I would say we would have somebody in Tyler in this case in defending, but we're having to recover now, and this is the critical error I think we made, is that our center backs have to be in sync and in line, right? One person can't be stepping and another player dropping in this case, because I think what creates this play is that Rafael's dropping sort of and kind of indecisive about where to go, and Jake's gone. He's in no man's land. So what ends up happening is a perfect ball, really was a perfect ball, gets hit over top, and the player's on sides running in on goal because of our positioning. So as this play is going, he's not able to retreat and get this ball. I think deciding if Jake decides to go, I think Rafael has to go with him. Typically, if the ball's lost like this and they're transitioning, we should probably just drop. So as this play is going, probably just should have just dropped in and let them have it and allowed our midfielders to recover. And you know what ends up happening is that Tony has to come up with a big save, 2 big saves, which he does. So it's one of those situations where they easily could have scored on us because of just, positioning there was, it's split-second decisions. One player decides to go, one player decides to drop. And in that case, I think communication probably helps. In the future, I would say, it's depending. If I'm behind the defender and he's going to go, I'm probably going to go with them. I'm not going to risk being the last defender by myself and keeping players on. But in that case, if the play breaks down and it happens, and I can communicate, Jake, stay with me, right? Stay back, drop. That's the part where I think you could probably communicate early enough and just drop into space, and that player won't play that long ball because he sees 2 players dropping instead of 1. He does hit a perfect ball. I mean, in this case, there's not much he can do, Rafael can do. He hits it just long enough or high enough, and probably even got held up by the wind to get over his head. Excuse me. And we end up having to make a big save to keep us in the game. So just looking at that as highlighting it, you guys can talk about it, amongst yourselves. So what do I do differently in that situation? You want me to talk to you? You want me to step? That's what kind of the conversation you should have when you see these type of plays happening, even in the game, right? What could we have done better to prevent that chance from happening? So this is highlights probably our best chance of the game. We didn't create too many chances on goal. In the first half, I think we had 1 shot on goal. In the second half, we probably had none, really. I mean, this is probably our only shot on goal. Despite our possession and despite the fact that we were attacking most of the time, they did a good job of breaking up the play. And you'll see that their effort level here on defending is really good. So you give them credit. Really just highlighting, the play out of the back is good here. Again, Garrett, 1-touch passing. I love the fact that we can play. And Rafael does the same thing here, right? Now, I got on Daniel for trying to take a player on at midfield, and had Yassine lost this ball here, I would have gotten on him too, because this is not a place to probably take a player on 1v1, but there isn't many options here. The ball comes into him, and there's not any of our midfielders really running off of the play for him to play. He could play back. He could play back to Cam, and we could work the ball around. Ends up getting through, which is fine. Gets through. We're playing combination play. We try to play give and go there, which is good. Cam is making a good tackle there. Daniel as well. Now we're looking to switch a point of attack, which is great. A great ball in beyond the midfield into a player, into Jack in this case, for a layoff. Isn't exactly accurate, but we were able to keep the ball, and good ball into space by Yassine. And this is the critical moment here. I've watched this play probably 20 times. And I think at first I was like, if this was on Jack's right foot, I think he shoots the ball. Keeper's in the center. You can hit this near or far post, probably even near post, and it would go in. But because it's on his left, I think he looks to pass, which Ethan is open. And you can just watch the effort level here. The guy's basically on the ground throwing his head at the ball, his body. And this player, to the far side doesn't give up on the play. As the ball goes beyond him, I mean, this is going in the net. Even this shot right here is past the keeper, and the defender is the one that's clearing it off the line. I mean, they didn't give up on any play, as you can see. Their effort level here, the player's slipping, and he's still trying to throw his head at the ball, trying to block it with everything he has. The defender, same idea. Comes back to Ethan. The guy on the ground is still, they don't give up on it. The kid's kicking at the ball, and they're able to clear their lines. It's a great defensive effort from them, honestly. I would give them credit for the fact that they just didn't give up on the play. And a lot of their backs are very good at doing that. For us, it's just an example of just good combination play, leading to a quality chance on goal. And I think we need more of that type of play where we're working the ball across the field. We're finding runners off of players. All right, good building out of the back, 1-touch passing if we need it. All right, thinking in 1-touch here. Jack's doing the same thing, thinking in 1-touch. He's able to lay the ball off into space for players to run onto. Playing away from pressure, not necessarily. And then we look to play the ball into space. And again, this is one of those split decision moments. I think again, you'll see in a couple other games where players pass up a shooting opportunity, which Jack is in, He's probably 8 or 9 yards outside and can hit a ball. And if he was, had a stronger left foot, I think he could whack a ball to the far post or the near post. Keeper's not in the greatest. He's not the biggest keeper ever. But a cutback cross here is just as good. It's a little bit behind Ethan, which makes him have to take a touch. Initially, when I watched this again, I was like, he should have hit it first time, but he has to slow down to get to the ball because it's a little bit behind him, and he has to he would have to snatch at it pretty quickly or take a touch, and he decides to take a touch, and the defender does a good job. He just throws his body at it, and this guy doesn't give up on the play. He just keeps on running and tries to block it. That's going in the net. So good play overall, and obviously good defending by them. But that was probably our only really good chance on goal all game.